Damn, the reality is just being able to go live whenever you want these days is kind of killing a lot of streamers' potentials. Today, I want to talk about how to plan your stream to keep creating amazing content, keep yourself talking when no one's there or when chat's just slow, and to actually grow yourself. Let's go. Hey guys, I'm Eljayem with StreamScheme.com. I'm also a variety streamer over at twitch.tv/Eljayem_. Links to both those in the description. If you do check out StreamScheme.com, it has over 400 guides. Seriously, if we don't have a video covering something, there will be a guide over at StreamScheme.com. Check it out. There's no paywalls or anything, entirely free. There's not even ads on the site. It's pretty cool. Today, I'm going to be covering a topic that I've mentioned over and over again, and you guys have asked me to do a full video on it over and over again. In fact, I think the final part of this video about engaging chatters is the part you guys asked me about the most, so I'm probably going to have to do a whole nother video just on the final part, but we do cover it in this one as well. That's right. Today, we're talking about planning your stream to grow. The core of this video and what I see most people pitch it as is how to keep yourself talking and how to keep your chat engaged in your content. But you do all that by planning your content, which is why I say that so often. Hey guys, this past LJ here forgot to let you guys know that this video is in fact sponsored by Own3D. They are your one-stop shop for everything you need streaming related, whether it is a new banner, new logo, emotes, full stream packages, whatever you want, Own3D have it, and you can check it out in the link down below. If you just want to focus on making great content and doing the best you can to plan out your schedule, then go grab one of their overlays and leave looking professional to them, because honestly, they've got that down pat. A massive thank you to Own3D for sponsoring this video and this channel. If you want to support me, guys, go check out Own3D and support us through the link because it really helps us out and lets us make more videos. The first step to planning out your content is to plan out your entire week's worth of streams. No, I'm not asking you to script anything. You don't need to write down an entire word by word play. It's live content. It's designed to be a bit impromptu. What I mean is you need to figure out exactly what you're going to stream each night. So essentially, when it comes to planning out my entire week, the first thing I want to do is figure out what I'm going to be doing each night. Usually once I have that first night figured out, or if I've already done it the week before, it's fairly easy because I'll usually be just doing one type of content. You see, consistency is key to growing on Twitch. So as a variety streamer, it means that I'll play one game for a week or two, sometimes longer if it's doing really well, and then I'll throw in a special stream on a Saturday or a Friday night and hype everyone up for that. This gives people who find me through that game a chance to connect with me, the streamer, and my community, more than if I just played it for one night and moved on. It's very hard for someone to come into a community, follow, enjoy a night, and then come back the next day for something completely different. They're much more likely to stick around if they watch you for 2 weeks playing a game and then you switch. A clear example of this is, let's say that I decide to play Raft for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then Saturday, I have a show called Sweaty Saturdays where I play something like Dark Souls or Shower with Your Dad Simulator. Difficult games that are hard to beat. Throughout the week while streaming Raft, I will mention how Saturday is gonna be really fun, how I'm really excited to play Dark Souls or Shower with Your Dad Simulator. And it will get people excited. People know they want to be there. They know that they want to be a part of that excitement. So there we go, we've planned out our whole week. Not quite. What you also need to do from this point is come up with a title and a hook for each stream. And you can change it on the night or you can change it later, but for now you need to have something to start with in case you get busy. You don't want to have a crappy title on one of the nights. I really like using puns in all of my titles because I think it either makes people groan or makes people love it. So for example, when I was playing Phasmophobia, a ghost hunting game, I wrote ghosts. Don't worry, I exercise regularly. It's a pun on the word exercise and exorcise. And it fits into 36 characters that will actually appear under my thumbnail in a category, which if you didn't know, that's how many actually appear underneath your thumbnail, which I cover entirely in my titles video about how to create good and engaging titles for your stream. You should check it out. Once I have my titles, I'll also sketch out some good go lives. For example, I'll find ways to make each night hype, or questions or engaging hooks that if it pops up on someone's phone or in someone's email, they'll want to click it as well because your go live is really important. Next up, it's planning out what you're going to talk about and planning out the content of your stream. And when I say this, a lot of people thought I meant, again, scripting out your entire thing or scripting out jokes. No, you don't have to script anything. You just need to come up with ideas. Streaming for multiple hours a day and for multiple days a week means you're going to be talking a lot. Not only will your throat get sore, but honestly, your brain will run dry. And when you're just starting out, you probably don't have a very active chat to ask you questions, which on a side note, if you're in my chat, please never stop asking me what my favorite food is, what my favorite movie is, take my shirt off, what's that thing behind you? Seriously, no matter how many times people ask these questions, I like answering it because it gives me something to talk about and a little bit of a break from having to come up with stuff. So every streamer will agree with you. Help us, please make content. We're streaming for hours and hours and hours. But if you don't want to, we've also got our own fallbacks because we planned those fallbacks throughout the week. In fact, that's what this part is. If you take a little notepad or a book, or even just grab your phone and get your notes app, all you have to do is throughout the week, if something happens to you, whether it's at the grocery store, whether it's just a funny story, or you think of a joke or something that makes you laugh, take a note of it, prep it, put it aside for when you're going live. It'll help you immensely. For me also, I have a channel point redeem called Give Me A Protip LJ, which means I have to give someone a pro tip, which means every single stream they can redeem that twice. So I need to come up with 2 pro tips for every single stream. That's 10 pro tips a week. All of them have to be either funny or actually a pro tip in some way. Every single stream also needs a question of the day, which is 5 questions of the day. I try not to reuse these and I have to manually set this up before every single stream. So I also plan those out. You're probably thinking to yourself, but weird things don't happen to me at the supermarket, or I don't have any jokes or any funny things to do. That's okay. Neither do stand-up comedians. None of these people actually have crazy things happen to them. They have things that are a little bit odd happen, and then they can extrapolate it and make it bigger. If you're watching though, anyone from my chat, everything I tell you is fully true. I promise, Alma the cashier was real. I promise. You can also prep jokes purely on the game you're going to be playing. Again, I play Phasmophobia every now and then. So I made note of this idea I had. I'd go into a house that was supposedly haunted and I would say, it definitely can't be this room. Do you know why, chat? The chat would go, why? And I would say, because it's the living room. And ghosts are dead, living room. It's not a good joke, but it was the delivery, the planning. It made people groan, a lot of people laughed. That's how you plan a joke. And honestly, planned out jokes like that, when they land and do really well, and you see all the lulls in chat, they're so much better than impromptu jokes. Again, I'm gonna throw it out there. You don't have to be an expert at all this stuff. You'd be surprised how much relatable stuff happens throughout your day that you can make notes of. Favorite cereals, coffee, tea, how do you have your coffee? Did you run out of milk? You can throw all of that down. People wanna hear it. They're there to watch you. They're there to communicate with the streamer. You can just throw it all in a notepad and then work on it to be engaging and you're good to go. Obviously, spur of the moment conversations are gonna come up on your streaming and that's great. Embrace them, don't shy away from them. But if chat ever is quiet or if you can't think of something to say, you can always just chuck it out there. Man, I really don't like tea. Or, a really controversial one, man, I really don't like coffee.
What's that ominous glow in the distance?
That'll get them talking. Seriously, anything like that, it'll get them going. It works. Really, it does. So I am gonna cover more about how to engage chatters in a second, as well as talk a bit more about planning out your stream. But before we get into that, I wanna throw it out there. If you have enjoyed this video, if it helps you out at all, consider checking out my other content. We have videos about everything on this channel, and if it helps you out, consider subscribing. It would really mean a lot to us. And if you want some free animated overlays, then all you have to do is go down to the description and join our Discord, download them from there. They're really easy to set up and they're entirely free. I'm really proud of them. Seriously, check them out. Anyway, let's get back into it. So you've started planning out talking points. Now it's time to start planning out the structure of your stream. Now I go into every single stream with a 3-part structure. The beginning, the middle, and the end. Complicated, yes, I know. Very, very complex stuff we're doing here, guys. The start or the beginning of the stream is always at the exact same time. I hit that go live button at 7:15. I play a very specific song that will last up until about 16 seconds is left on my starting soon screen. At that point, I transition to another song, which at the exactly 15-second mark has a pause in the music before a drop, a really nice little sentence. I hit transition and then I appear on screen and I greet everyone, really hyped and excited. That's how I start every stream. People are constantly already there doing commands in chat, talking to each other, posting dance emotes or hype emotes. It is a great way to hype everyone up. I spend the next 20 to 30 minutes or as long as I can go, just chatting to them, connecting with them, telling them about my day, asking about theirs, communicating. I get people hyped up for it and then we transition into the middle, the meat and potatoes of our stream. This section is most likely the game you're going to be playing, or if you are an art streamer or a musician, it's doing that. This is where you can start using up more of your talking points or just chatting again, but you have the content as well to fall back on to talk about if need be. If my beginning will go for 45 minutes to an hour, then my main content will usually go for about an hour 45, 2 hours. Or if I feel like I can go longer or I have a lot of talking points left over, sometimes I'll extend that as long as the chat is still enjoying themselves. Then we have an outro. Now, I have a very different outro to a lot of streamers I've seen. In fact, my outro is I put on some hype music and then I thank every single person who followed, dropped bits, subscribed, rated, did anything to support the stream that night. I go through every single person. Chat posts hypes, they post excitements, they thank everyone. It's a really great way to end the stream, and it makes people feel awesome. So much so that when I'm thanking all these people, I often get a lot more follows, and sometimes even hype trains start. This wasn't my intention, I honestly just wanted to thank them, but people go, hey, I want my name read out again, or hey, this seems really cool, I want to be a part of this. And it works. I get follower trains at the end, as I said, hype trains at the end. And then my ending gets delayed for 3 minutes, but we still have a good time. A small tip that I've heard from larger streamers, which I really agree with, in fact I've heard XQC and Ludwig both say this on separate occasions, most people only remember the start of a stream and the end of a stream. They'll remember a few little clips, and obviously the main meat and potatoes of your stream needs to be good, or else they'll leave. But essentially, as long as your start and your end are hype and positive, that was a good stream to them. They kind of just forget the middle, it all blurs together. So my actionable tip here is, as I said, separate your stream up into your segments, your beginning, your middle, your end. Now in your middle, obviously, if you're gonna do different things, you could say the first hour of your middle is gonna be just chatting, the second hour of your middle is gonna be a tier list, the third is gonna be a game, whatever you want. But if you have this rough structure in place, you can constantly know where you're going and you never feel lost. And if you do it like this, you can actually see what works for your chat by going to analytics and going to active chatters. And you can see the active chatters for a stream if you go to this little segment here. This lets you see when people really engaged and spoke in your chat. Seriously, it's a great way to see when you pulled lurkers out or when people posted lulls or whatever else. But if we're talking about engaging a chat, that means we have to cover a few other things as well. You see, engaging your chat is tough because, well, you need chatters. And if you're just starting out, you don't have any. So you might be thinking, well, this segment won't work for me, but actually this is really important for you because you need to be good at this for when those chatters first rock up. The first way to keep people active in chat is to really just create good content, but that's not always the case, is it? If you create really good content, but your chat engagement isn't the focus, then a lot of people will just put you on in the background and they'll lurk. You see this all the time with streamers with 100 to 200 viewers. Their chat can be very slow, whereas you join someone with 30 viewers and their chat can be way faster. It's actually because for a lot of the slow streams, the focus isn't on that chat engagement, it's on the game they're playing or the things they're doing. My first tip when it comes to chat engagement is to use a question of the day or a fact of the day. If you come into my stream, even right now, and write !QOTD, it'll spit back a question and then people will answer it. It's a great way to start a conversation, especially if someone has just joined and isn't really in the community yet and they just want to be a part of it. You can set up commands like this by using something like Cloudbox to have an entire tutorial on. It's linked in the description as well as over in our channel, so check those out. The thing is though, a lot of people don't understand that doing a question of the day isn't enough to make someone engaged in chat. You have to take it a step further. If someone writes !QOTD and it spits back, hey, what is your favorite film? And they say, my favorite film is Aladdin. Or they happen to ask you, hey streamer, what's your favorite film? You don't just say Aladdin. No, you say, oh, that's a tough one. I think my favorite's Aladdin. I really like Disney films. What do you like? Or if they say Aladdin to the question of the day, you say, oh, Aladdin, that's a great film. Why do you like that one? Or what other Disney films exist that you really like? If you're a small streamer, you have a very powerful tool at your disposal, and that is the fact that your chat is slow. You can engage directly with every single person. You can seriously talk to them. I bet a lot of people aren't doing that. Another way to engage chatters is to create titles that spark conversation. I mentioned this before, that you can post something like, Aladdin is the best Disney film of all time. People come in and argue it. Don't know why they're trying to argue. It actually is, so. However, this obviously has to relate to the content. I wouldn't write that as my title if I wasn't doing something like a tier list where I was ranking all the Disney films. For example, if I were to do a game like Stardew Valley, I could say that one villager is better than another villager. People will come argue, or just to chat. It gets them into the community, gets them chatting. I mentioned this concept earlier with the coffee and the tea conversation, but really you can do this with anything. It's just a matter of bringing up, what do you like better, waffles or pancakes? It gets people talking, and then you've got to flow the conversation from there. But it's quite easy once you get into it. I mentioned CloudBot as well. Another way to engage chatters is to use fun little games and modules like the Streamlabs CloudBot, but people can gamble, they can heist, they can do all sorts of fun stuff, and because they're there typing it in chat, if you ask a question or if something happens, they're very quick to respond because they're already in chat. Speaking of quick to respond, I reply to every single person who comments on this YouTube channel. If I don't, it's mostly because YouTube has flagged someone or you're spam. So I reply to every single person. You seriously go comment down below and like and subscribe to this video. I will see you guys next week.